Aloha and welcome to this overview of user interface design basics, HTML and CSS. Well, I don't know if this is one of the most important modules that you'll do in this course, but maybe it is. I mean, because really in the modern age, everybody needs some basic HTML and CSS capabilities. Even if you're always going to be working with professional designers, it's really good to be able to make, little mock-ups of things, and also just to go in and be able to tweak other people's web application code. And maybe a few of you will never write a web application in your lives, but I doubt it. I bet you all of you are going to have to do a certain amount of web application development. Might be very minor, but at any rate, I think that knowing this stuff is quite important. And we're going to spend really the minimal amount of time just to give you the minimal amount of stuff to make you competent. So in this module, we're going to focus on real basic manipulation of HTML and CSS, and how to use IntelliJ, Google Fonts, Live Reload, or some other auto reloader if you prefer, and Chrome Developers Tools to accomplish that. With respect to HTML, we're just going to go over the real basic kinds of stuff. Similarly for CSS, real basic stuff. We're going to basically, after this week, do a module on Twitter Bootstrap, which is a CSS framework which which avoids the requirement that you learn much about CSS beyond the very basic stuff. And that's the goal. And also with Twitter Bootstrap, you can make above threshold user interfaces really fairly painlessly. And that's the goal as a software engineer. You're not a web designer, but at the same time, there's kind of a minimum aesthetic standard for user interfaces. And that's what I'm trying to do in this class, is to get you to the point where you guys can all build web user interfaces that look decent in a minimal amount of time with a minimal amount of pain and suffering. Okay, so for doing web development, we're basically going to be, at this point in the semester, using IntelliJ Chrome browser, because then we get the Chrome Developer Tools and Live Reload. So let's kind of fool around with that, get rid of PowerPoint. And so I'll bring up IntelliJ, and we're just going to build a little Hello World program. So we're going to create a new project. And this will be a static web, and let's call this UI Basics Demo. And so we'll build that. And then inside this little project, we'll do propeller end to create a new thing, and we're going to create a new HTML file. So we'll just go down to there, and we'll call this puppy index.html. Okay, and we get a template. You want to have that doc type in there. You need the HTML tag. You need a head, and we can go ahead and fill in the title. Call it Hello World. You notice there's two-space indentation. Okay, so you want to make sure that in your preferences, editor, code style, HTML, that you've got your tab size and intent set to 2. If it's coming up as 4, it's because you didn't set the preferences correctly. Basically, you've got to set the preferences there, then you got to delete this project, start all over from scratch. Everything will be good. Okay, so inside here, let's just say Hello World, because of course that's what everybody wants to say. And what the heck, let's try to bring up a browser just in the bottom. Oh, let's see if we can do this. A little cramped here, but I'm going to try to display both things in one window, and you will see why in a minute. Okay, so if we're in Chrome and we say open file, and we click, we're in this UI Basics demo, we click open, and we've got Hello World. Okay, just like we wanted to. So we're displaying this file index.html in the browser, and it renders okay. So one of the things that we want to be able to do is quickly have the to speed up our development process, we don't have to click refresh every single time that we make changes to our development environment. And so the live reload system is a nice way to do it. And there's two things you got to do when you use live reload. The first thing is you have to add a folder containing your project to the live reload system. So now it's monitoring that folder. And then the second thing you have to do is once you've displayed the page in it, then you have this browser extension that you can click to say enable live reload. And once that's done, I'll go back up here and I'll say it's Philip. And then as soon as I save out the file up here, you can see that my browser down here has changed. Okay, so that's, super nice, right? We can delete this and save it out, and all of a sudden the browser is instantly reflecting what's changed. So that in itself is going to kind of reduce aggravation and enable you to work a lot faster. Okay. Second thing I thought I'd show you is to let's just create a simple style sheet. So if we go down to here, and we'll call this style.css. Okay, so now we got one of those. And let's just say, we'll say body, and we'll make the color, what the heck, let's make it red. And you can look at how nice IntelliJ is. In fact, it's giving you all these nice trying to do auto completion on colors. The other thing you should know is that if you click this little button, it actually shows you the color in the margin there. And if you click it, you can fool around and change it to whatever you want. I'll cancel, so we're back to red. But so again, IntelliJ has built in some kind of nice stuff. Now, how are we going to get that style sheet to be displayed on index.html? Okay, well, what we have to do is we've got to add in a link, rel equals style sheet, href equals, and notice another thing, this IntelliJ is pretty nice, right? So I just typed that href, it's saying, well, here are some files in the current directory you might want to select, and in fact the one we want in there is style.css. Okay? So let's save this out, and what you notice is as soon as I saved out that file, I have the live reload has reloaded this page, and now you can see the browser's in red. Okay, so that's super awesome because now actually we've changed the body. And then I guess the last thing that I'll do here, just for grins, is we can show how actually what I'll do here. No, before I do that, let me make this a little taller. Let me make this quite tall for a second. Okay. The next thing I wanted to show you was Chrome Developer Tools. And so the nicest way I think to invoke Chrome Developers Tools is to actually select some piece of the page that you're interested in, and then right-click and say Inspect Element. And then Chrome Developer Tools comes up, and it's basically highlighting the line that contains the selected element. And then we can see stuff over here, for example, that the body is, the reason why it's a red color is because we had this body color red style sheet. Okay? So that's that. So if we go back in here, one thing we could do, just for grins, is we could make the color of paragraphs something different. Let's say blue. Okay? And if we save that out, we'll see all of a sudden, whoa, now the color of the text has just changed to blue. And if we do inspect element, what we'll see now is that we inherited from body as we always did, but that has been overridden. So it's actually crossed out in Chrome Developer Tools, and we see it's actually this declaration which is leading to the color that's being used. The other thing you can see here is that even though in our index.html we don't have any kind of script tag, that's been auto-magically inserted into our file. which is how Live Reload is able to kind of figure out what it should be doing, and that's part of the browser extension. Okay, so there I think you have this very basic overview of how you want to use IntelliJ IDEA, create a basic web project. You want to select HTML or CSS. It will put in the boilerplate text for you. Now let's complete this tag. Again, it does nice things like with colors, and you'll see with other tags as well. It does a lot of interesting things to help you along. So I think you'll have fun getting familiar with this kind of web development, and we're certainly going to have a few WODs that will help you do so. So have fun.